Hello, a very good evening. Welcome to Love Talk. We are here once again to talk about relationships and how you can build successful relationships. And sitting next to me.
Hello, everyone. It's me again. Yeah.
Now, before we started, you saw some images there of Elena and I fixing the set here. And some things I had to carry by myself. Elena could carry by herself. When we moved the table, we had to move it together. Actually, the table's not that heavy, but it's just to illustrate, right?
Yeah, we were just pretending it was heavy so that you could see our point, which we are going to say to you in a minute.
Today we're going to talk about this. There are certain things in life that require strength to change. But there are other things in life that require extra strength. We're not talking about physical strength, because of course, that's obvious, right? But even in relationships, there are some things that you need to invest your strength to change, and others you need to really put all your strength, extra strength, to make that work. Let's give an example. You know, when we get married, we go through a process of adapting to each other. Elena and I are very different. And there were some things that were easier to adapt to each other. So even though we had to invest strength to adapt to certain things, there were other things, it was a lot harder. We have to invest extra strength to make that work. Can you remember anything that we had to really work hard to adapt?
Yes. In my case, whenever he was not so happy with something, when he was a bit angry at something, I had to make an extra effort, which is also a word for making an extra strength, to not say anything at that moment and wait until he feels better so that I can say what I think. So that required a lot of willpower, a lot of strength, because sometimes I thought I was right and he was wrong. But you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to be quiet and wait until he feels better, and then I'll put my point across.
Yeah. Every time a couple gets married, there are things that are different. They need adjusting to, but you try hard to make things work, and they work. But there are other things, and this is where many couples, they don't try hard enough, and relationships break down because they're not willing to put in the extra strength. You know, sometimes the person, there's something that they need, they argue over all the time, a serious issue. And they're not really putting the strength to solve the problem. They are putting strength in fighting. We're going to give an example here for you to understand. Adapting. You must use strength to adapt to each other. But when there is a betrayal, when someone cheats, you require extra strength to forgive. And we have said here in this program before that if the person cheats 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, that person is not worthy of forgiving and moving on with the relationship. That person's having a laugh. They're joking. They're laughing at you. But if the person made one mistake and you are willing to forgive, it takes a lot of strength, courage, in fact, all your strength in order to forgive and move on.
Yes, absolutely. And many people say, but I don't have the strength. Yes, you do. If you really, really look inside of you, you will find everything you need to do what you need to do. That's my opinion, because when people want to do wrong things, they find the strength to do it. They run risks. They know it can be bad for their marriages. They know it can be bad for their family, their children, but they still go and find the strength to do what's wrong.
And I remember something that for me was really hard to change when we got married. I needed a lot of extra strength, is that every time I was upset about something, and Elena will remember this, I wouldn't talk about it. I would just be silent. Sometimes I would be silent for days. You remember that?
Of course I do. 2-3 days, just treating me like if I was a chair or a table or
And for me to learn, and then I went to the other side. When I would be upset about something, I would shout. I would get angry, right? I would not really shout, but I would get angry.
Yeah.
And for me to understand that I had to talk about why I was upset on the normal tone of voice and try to have a conversation, that was really, really hard, because for years the way I thought of dealing with the problem was to not talk about it. Some other things we changed without requiring too much strength. So you need to understand, you need to identify in your marriage where you need to invest strength and where you need to invest extra strength. Because those parts that require extra strength, it's what makes or breaks a marriage. Marriages break because there was an area that required extra investment of strength and the person was not willing to do it. So it broke down.
Yes, and it's like our example of helping each other to move this table. Sometimes for you to change, for you to get the extra strength to do something that you know you need to do, sometimes you need the other person's help. What do I mean? You have to talk. Remember my example. Wait for the person to calm down. Wait for a good moment, a good day, and you talk about how you feel, what is happening in your head. This is also to do with transparency that we spoke last week. Talk about how you see things and ask the person, help me. You know, when you are angry, I don't know why you are angry. Tell me, at least I will know. And then I'll have the strength to just be quiet and wait until you feel better, because I didn't know I upset you.
Yeah. My advice to you, couple, to you wife, to you husband, is make a list of the things in the marriage that you need to invest extra strength to change. Because if you know what these things are, even though it's going to be hard for you to invest that extra strength because it's something you don't want to do, but if you know what it is, you can work on it. You can make it happen. Make a list of those things. It may be that the things that require strength will be 20. The things that require extra strength will be 3. But it's those 3 sometimes that make or break a relationship. We're going to go to a song right now. When we come back, we're going to give an advice to you who are single. We're going to tell you examples of where it is required to use extra strength. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this song.
To adore you, to exalt you, we are together on your altar. We want to give you honors and praise, please you with all our lives, not to ask you, only to thank you, your holy name glorify. Our entire hearts needs more of your power. Embrace your people, oh my Lord. Embrace us with your amazing love. We want to feel your hand pour down upon us, your holy presence. Embrace your people, oh my Lord. Embrace us with your amazing love. We want to feel your hand can all feel your holy presence among us. It's so good to be very close to you. We want to hear your voice. Embrace your people, oh my Lord. Embrace us with your amazing love. We want to feel your hand. Pour down upon us your holy presence. Embrace your people, oh my Lord. Embrace us with your amazing love. We want to feel your hand. Pour down upon us your holy presence. Embrace your people, oh my Lord. Embrace us with your amazing love. We want to feel your hand. Pour down upon us your holy presence. Embrace your people, oh my Lord. Embrace us with your amazing love. We want to feel your hand. Pour down upon us your holy presence.
Welcome back. Every week we prepare new songs for this program. I hope you appreciate that.
We prepare.
Doesn't matter who prepares, they're there for you to enjoy.
Because you put a lot of thought into it. That's why it's nice.
So let's now talk about singles. Let's talk about where singles usually, when they come to the church, where they use their strength, which is good. You need to use your strength, but you also need to use your extra strength. A lot of singles, they use the strength to come to the church and to pray for God to prepare someone for them. And, more than you need, I think this is an important point, more than you need to ask God to prepare someone for you, you need to ask God to change you so that you can be prepared for someone. Sometimes a person makes a lot of effort asking God, Lord, prepare this man, prepare that woman for me, prepare. And they're forgetting about them. So when they meet the ideal person, they haven't changed yet. So they're not ready to be in a relationship. So you invest your strength in changing as a person. But then we have the example that the person becomes impatient. Mm-hmm. They don't want to wait, and they meet someone who is wrong for them. They're not of the same faith. The person is not the right person for them. But because they're tired of waiting, they don't put the extra strength to wait, to look in the right places, and then things go wrong.
Absolutely. We are giving you so many examples of where you should put strength and how you don't, that I'm also thinking of another example. Many women, let me talk about women here, because I'm one, they put a lot of strength into their wedding day. They dream about it. They even make a beautiful book. They stick all the pictures of the wedding dresses they want to try on and all. They really think about it. They make such an effort for the wedding day, or losing weight, looking good, makeup, hair. But when the day comes, when it's the next morning, and then you start living a married life for real, no fairy tales, it's reality. It's time to go to work. Who pays the bills today? Okay, you go and do this, you do the laundry, please help me with that. Then people don't use as much strength and pardon me, into their marriage. And this marriage is not your wedding day. Marriage is when everyone is gone, the party is over, and now it's only you and the person, and it's reality. Reality kicks in, like, you know.
Because, you know, sometimes the person puts all the extra strength into that wedding day. They spend the last dollar. They spend all the money they have to make that day perfect. But that day doesn't really make much of a difference if it's perfect or not. What matters is what happens after that. And when you need to use extra strength, which is to understand the person who's with you, to understand they have their own opinions, their own background, they have their own upbringing that is different to yours, then you don't put extra strength, for example, in understanding why that person behaves like that. Sometimes the person says, Bishop, my husband is he's very tough, he's not affectionate, he doesn't show his emotions. But maybe there's a reason for that, and you never put your extra strength into understanding why he's like that. Maybe he's like that for a reason, because he grew up alone, he didn't have people who loved him around him, so he doesn't know how to express that, and it's up to you to use your extra strength to bring that out in him. It takes time, it takes effort, but it has to be done. Two people are different. Going back to the singles, because we were talking about singles before, you know, if you are using your strength because you're asking God to prepare you and to prepare someone for you, there will be a time where you'll be tested, where a person that you didn't expect but is not the right person appears in your life in a moment where you are sensitive, in a moment where you are lonely, where you need affection, and that person will appear like the right person. But how many examples we see in the church, Elena, of people who thought, this is the right guy, this is the one, I don't care if he doesn't come to the church, I don't care if he's not in the same faith, and then the person finds herself pregnant, and the guy says, I'm sorry, this is not what I wanted, I didn't sign up to have a son, I just wanted to have some fun. And then you are left with a baby. You have to make a decision, and many people think of getting an abortion, but it ruins all the plans, because in the time you needed to put the extra strength, you didn't, and then everything goes wrong. So whether the person is married or single, they need to understand that there will be certain situations in their life that it's not enough to try. It's not enough for you to say, I tried. You have to try with all your strength, all of it, to make that happen. This table is not very heavy, but if it was super heavy, it wasn't enough for us to try to move it. We had to put all our strength to move it.
And putting all the strength is, for those who are listening to us and they are still trying to find examples or more examples of what it is to put strength, is when you have to make an extra effort. It's not a natural effort. For example, this is a natural effort. I do this even without thinking very hard. Oh, it's a bit heavy, the cup. You know, I'll just pick it up. But sometimes you have to gather strength from inside of you, which should come from God, because this is the strength, the only strength that really carries you, and do what your flesh, you don't want to do it, but you gather the strength and you do what's right. Singles, like you said, you know the person is not the right one for you, and the thought comes to your mind, oh, but the heart doesn't choose. Yes, it chooses. Or if it doesn't, you make your heart choose right, because you get extra strength from you, you make an effort, and you say, no, this person has nothing in common with me. They want to live in different countries, they want to do different things. So you gather the strength, you make an effort that is not normal effort, but it's something that you have to do. And this is like a law of life.
That's it. Let's do something right now. We're going to watch a testimony. After the testimony, which is an example of how faith can change a relationship, then we'll come back. We're going to make the final point before we end the program. So you've made some bad decisions in your past. Because of those bad decisions, you went through some bad spells in your life. Tell people at home a little bit about your past and what happened to you.
It started when I was very young, when I was robbed, and because I was robbed, I didn't accept that. Like, I was a very proud guy. So because of that, I went to find guys in my area that could help me to get those people that robbed me. And then I start to see that the more I hang around with these guys, is the more protective or the more confident I have become, so that no one was able to mess with me as before. So they became like a family to me, and I started to hang around with them even more. And then the more I hang around with them, is the deeper I got myself in the activities that we were doing. So we just started stealing here and there, and then from there we started going with knives, getting into large fights with other gangs, going to carnival, starting fights in carnival, sleeping around with girls, taking drugs. There are times I used to take like pills, ecstasy pills, and go and fight like 3-hour fights, drinks, smoking, and the normal things. Cars, we had money, we had girls, and these things were entertaining for me, and I used to like it because, imagine I was a young 15-year-old, didn't have to work, but I had money, went to school with money.
How did you get the money?
Robbing or stealing, going around. And I remember there was a time where I had an outfit, that was all white outfit, and the only thing was missing was a hat. And when I was in the bus, I saw this guy that has the white hat that I needed to complete my outfit. So when I saw him, I said, that's what I'm missing. And then I got the hat from him, and I tried it on, it was the same size as me. And then he resisted, because I didn't even want to fight at that time. I was dressed in white, I didn't want to get dirty. But he resisted and turned out to a fight. And then instead of taking just a hat, we took everything that he had with him. And then went to sell, to steal laptops, to sell to these people like they used to buy for cheap, like 500, steal bikes. One time we stole like a studio equipment. And then all of us had like 1,000, 1,500.
Were you ever arrested?
Yes.
How many times were you arrested?
I was only arrested once outside, but the other times I was arrested in my house. So outside, they arrested me because I had counterfeit money. So I went to the shop, and then I used the counterfeit money. They gave me the change, but the way they gave me the change, I said, wait here, let me go and get some more change. So when they went to get more change, they called the police. So by the time I left the shop, the police were already outside.
Right.
So yeah, that's how I got arrested.
Now, what was the lowest point of your life? When did you feel that you had to change? When was the worst thing that ever, or the worst point that you found yourself in?
Is when they accused me of rape. There was this girl that accused multiple of us of rape, that we raped her and, we didn't respect her. And that for me I was really, really angry and different.
Was that the case?
No, that was not the case.
Right.
I didn't rape the girl. She accused us of rape. And the reason why she accused us of rape is because she liked one of the guys that was with us. So we told her, if you sleep with all of us, then the guy will go out with you. So she said, okay. So she slept with all of us.
So you were being accused of something that didn't actually happen.
No.
And at that time, did you feel that you had gone one step too far? Did you feel that now you needed help?
At that point, no. Because at that point, I was angry for the fact that she even dared to say that. And I was so angry. And that anger turned into violence. And then from there, it started to escalate. And then police come into my house, they arrested me, put me into a cell for like 3 days. They start searching me. And when you're accused of rape, they stripped you. And then they take DNA. And then it started to dawn on me, it's like, you actually might be going to prison.
Were you eventually cleared of that,
I was cleared.
accusation? You were cleared. How did your life change? You were this person who was involved in gangs, you were terrible, you were a bad person, you were doing very bad things. You were not someone that, someone said, oh, it's because of the crowd you hang around with. You chose to do bad things.
Fully aware.
How did your life change?
My life changed after that event happened. So when that event happened, I was going to court, And I realized that those people that I was involved with protecting them, risking my life, they're not actually there. And then when I started to stop and think, I was in a cell, and I started to realize that I'm getting 12 years if I'm found guilty of this accusation. And then when you go to prison as a rapist, your life is not the same anymore. Like you're not getting a job, like you don't exist in society. You're just marked.
So you realized that this was not a life for you.
Yes.
But when did everything change? What did you do to change things?
It's when my mom was helping me, and then she invited me to a UCKG help center. And I'm like, okay, how is this place gonna help me to clear this situation? She just, look, just come, and then you do what is there, you see what happens. So she challenged me, actually. And I accepted the challenge. And when I came, I heard the word, and I practiced. In the beginning, it was a bit hard because I was not used to it. But because I was challenged, I started to practice. And the funny thing is that what the man was saying at that time was related to me. And I was thinking, my mom told
So you thought your mom was telling him?
Yeah.
And actually that wasn't the case. You just felt that was something that helped you at the time. Are you a different person now?
Absolutely different, 100% different.
How are you? Who are you today?
Today, I'm a different guy. Today, actually have self-control. Today, I can manage myself. I help with young people. I work with young people who used to do the same thing as I used to do. So people in drugs, crime, people who have been abused, like young people who have been left out. I'm the one helping them to fit in back again to the society.
Should people be afraid of you?
No. If you see me before and now, you will never imagine that I was the person I was before.
Right. Could you show people at home who you are so they can see that you are different?
Definitely, 100%.
One.
My name is Chris. I'm a different person today. Today I also help young people who used to be just like me, and so that they can have the same privilege and the difference like I am.
Welcome back. Here is our final advice. Take a blank piece of paper, take a pen, and write on that piece of paper, where are the areas in your love life, whether you are single or married, that require extra strength. Perhaps you broke up, you're single, you broke up a relationship 3 years ago, but you still keep checking the Facebook profile of that person who's already married, who already moved on. You're punishing yourself. That's a big mistake. Perhaps it requires extra strength that you will never check that person's Facebook again, and you stop feeding false hopes of something that will never happen. But that's what requires extra strength. Make a list of what it is. Bishop, why do I need to make a list? Because it becomes something visual. You can see it. Why do architects make plans of buildings before they build buildings? Nobody starts building a huge skyscraper without having a plan first. Doesn't make any sense. So do the same. Make that list. And then in the areas where it requires extra strength, invest all you can. All of it. Like Elena said, it's a mental decision, not an emotional decision. It's something you decide to do and you stick with it. I want to invite you that if you have any questions, this week we had some questions which I already answered directly to people. If you have any questions, comments about today's topic, about anything to do with the future, send us your comments, send us your questions. We'll be glad to answer them here on the program. That's all we have time for today.
That's right. And we'll see you again next week. And we look forward to your comments and especially your questions.
Let's enjoy now the program Miracles Can Happen with Bishop Flavio from New Zealand. Until next week, God bless you. Bye-bye.